Deployments in Kubernetes are trivially easy to roll back. And the reason for this trivial ease of rollbacks is the fact that revisions are automatically tracked for deployments. Now, there is one important fact that you should be aware of here. A deployment's revision is only triggered, or a new revision is only created when a deployment's rollout is triggered, and this in turn only happens when the deployment's pod template changes. So for instance, if you update the labels or the container images or perform any other changes on the pod template of a deployment, a new revision of the deployment is automatically created. You can then roll back at any point to a previous version using a single command. However, other changes to the manifest which do not change the pod template are not going to trigger a new revision being created. So for instance, if you scale a deployment, that is not going to count as the creation of a new revision, and that is not something that you will be able to trivially roll back to. And this also means that when we roll back to a previous version of a deployment, it is only the pod template part of the deployment which is being rolled back. The other elements in the deployment spec remain unchanged. As long as you're clear on this important aspect of the semantics of rollback, everything else ought to follow quite easily. Given a deployment, you can go ahead and roll it back using a single command. All that you need to do is to run the kubectl rollout undo deployment command. Within this, you could specify a previous version, that is a 2 revision version that you want to roll back to. You should also know that the record switch is handy to have used while creating the deployment in the first place, because if we had used the record switch, there would be an association between the revision number and the command or the cause that triggered that revision. And then we could easily examine the revisions by just running kubectl rollout history followed by our deployment name. So in a nutshell, every change to the pod template of our deployment is going to trigger the creation of a new revision, and we can then roll back at any point from the current state of our deployment to any previous state with just one simple command.